Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're exploring a piece of technology that, well, it really promises to live in two worlds.
Uh-huh.
The powerhouse gaming rig and, the refined professional
I
workstation.
mean, that balancing act.
Exactly. Think of it like that friend who's always up for a high-octane game,
Yeah.
but then, effortlessly switches gears to tackle a serious creative project.
Okay.
We're zeroing in on the HP Omen gaming laptop, 16UO000. Our goal today is to uncover how this machine delivers serious performance without the typical,
The blame.
the bling and neon overload sometimes associated with gaming hardware, and what that versatility means for you, whether you're battling dragons or crunching numbers.
It's always fascinating, isn't it, how technology adapts to these diverse user needs. And this particular exploration, it gives us a perfect lens to examine that balance. We've really dug into our sources to see if this laptop genuinely lives up to its promise of being, as they say, equally adept at serious work and immersive play.
And does it?
Well, what really stands out in our research is its deliberate effort to sit comfortably on the fence between professional and enthusiast, which, is a strategic move by HP.
Okay, let's start with the immediate impression then, the design. Our materials describe a matte black chassis that sort of exudes a quiet confidence.
Yeah.
There are no flashy lights, no aggressive graphics. What's the significance of this more, refined aesthetic for a machine that's clearly built for serious gaming?
What's truly insightful here is HP's calculated gamble, you could say. By deliberately moving away from the stereotypical, the bling and neon overload
Right.
that we often see in gaming machines, they've opted for an angular yet refined look. Very subtle Omen branding.
Okay.
And this isn't just about appearance, it's about strategically positioning the laptop. They want to appeal to a much wider demographic.
Interesting.
It suggests a target user who, yes, values raw power, but also needs a machine that looks, appropriate in a boardroom or a cafe or a creative studio.
Right, not just a LAN party.
Exactly. That reassuring heft, as our sources put it, it hints at serious hardware without needing to shout about it. It kind of blurs the lines between a pure gaming setup and a more traditional work environment. Allows for a seamless transition between the two.
Shifting our focus to the screen.
Yeah,
This is where you spend most of your time, right? And it's critical for both work and play.
absolutely.
We're looking at a 16-inch WUXGA panel. It's got a 16.10 aspect ratio.
Uh-huh.
Our research notes the 1920 by 1280 pixel display strikes a classy balance between space and sharpness, and highlights how the slightly taller screen felt like an upgrade over the more common 16.9 format.
Yeah, that 16.10 is key.
Why is that aspect ratio such a significant upgrade? And how do the other display features enhance the whole experience?
Well, this really gets to the heart of user experience beyond just, raw specs. WUXGA, that stands for Wide Ultra Extended Graphics Array.
Okay.
It specifically refers to that 1920 by 1280 resolution, giving you more vertical screen real estate than standard Full HD.
Right. Taller.
Exactly. And that 16.10 aspect ratio provides a subtle but honestly profound advantage, particularly for productivity.
How so?
Think about scanning emails, working on documents, maybe coding. That extra vertical space means less scrolling, more information visible at a glance.
Okay, I can see that.
It makes split-screen multitasking feel significantly more natural, less cramped. And for gaming, the display doesn't disappoint either. Our materials emphasize vivid without being oversaturated colors.
Good.
And a buttery smooth 165 Hz refresh rate, which is absolutely crucial for responsiveness in, say, fast-paced shooters and high-octane racing games.
Right, need that smoothness.
Definitely. And for collaborative play, the excellent viewing angles mean everyone gets a clear view during, multiplayer sessions.
That sounds like a display that truly caters to both demands. But okay, what does this all mean when you're actually putting the laptop through its paces?
Performance time.
Yeah. Our sources consistently highlighted a sense of, effortless power. What's under the hood that gives this machine that kind of capability?
Yeah.
And how does it translate into real-world performance for you?
Okay, so this combination of components, it's clearly engineered for demanding tasks. At its core, you've got an Intel Core i7-11700HX CPU.
Right.
Our sources describe that as a powerhouse. It just breezes through both gaming and productivity tasks.
Nice.
Complementing that is 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM. The DDR5 part is key here.
Why is that?
It's a newer generation of memory, offers significantly higher bandwidth than its predecessors, like DDR4. So this isn't just about juggling a few apps. It means data can be fed to the CPU and GPU much faster,
Oh.
which directly contributes to that effortless feeling, especially when you're doing something memory intensive, like running a video editing suite, a dozen Chrome tabs, and a Discord call without so much as a hiccup.
Wow. Okay.
Then there's the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 laptop GPU. This chip, it excels at handling advanced graphics features, things like ray-traced lighting.
Which looks amazing.
It really does. Creates incredibly realistic light and shadow. And DLSS acceleration.
Explain DLSS quickly.
Sure, deep learning supersampling. It's NVIDIA's AI tech that cleverly upscales lower-res images. So you get a massive boost in frame rates without really sacrificing visual quality.
Gotcha.
Especially noticeable in demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077 and Forza Horizon 5, where our sources saw it consistently delivering stable frame rates above 60 fps on ultra settings.
Very impressive.
And finally, the 1 TB PCIe SSD. That ensures Windows and programs load in a flash, and transfers of large files, near instantaneous, essential for creatives dealing with big media files and gamers needing quick access to those huge game libraries.
Okay, with all that power packed into a laptop form factor, the big question is always heat. Gaming laptops have that reputation, right? Getting hot, getting loud under load. Our research mentioned dual fans, wide heat pipes, and venting along the rear and sides.
Yeah.
How effective is HP's cooling solution here? What's its impact on the user experience?
Yeah, effective cooling is absolutely critical, otherwise you get thermal throttling, and performance just tanks.
Right.
HP seems to have done an admirable job here, actually. Our sources found the cooling solution effective enough to keep the keyboard deck never uncomfortably warm, which is great.
That is good news.
Even under heavy load, the CPU peaked around the mid-80 C range, and the GPU hovered in the low 70s. Those temps are well within safe operating limits.
Okay. And the noise.
Well, the fans do produce a noticeable hum when pushed hard. You'll hear them. But they're reported to never reach a distressing roar, which is a common complaint with many gaming laptops.
That's a relief.
It highlights a successful balance, I think, between performance and user comfort. What's also important to note is the quiet performance mode.
Okay.
It's a thoughtful inclusion. Lets you trade a little raw power for near-silent operation, which makes the laptop genuinely versatile for times when you need discretion, like coding late at night or watching a film, without the fans constantly spinning up.
That is useful. Okay, beyond the raw processing power and keeping it cool, what about the everyday interactions? Let's talk audio experience and connectivity options. How does this laptop sound, and can you plug everything in?
Right, the creature comforts. Well, the audio experience is actually a pleasant surprise. The Bang & Olufsen-tuned speakers offer a richer, more balanced sound than the typical tinny laptop output.
Better than average, then.
Definitely. Our sources highlighted clear vocals and mid-range frequencies, which makes dialogue and cutscenes crisp and immersive, adds depth to both gaming and, watching movies.
And ports. Can I connect my stuff?
Connectivity is quite comprehensive. You get a pair of USB-A ports, the standard ones, 2 USB-C ports, and one of those supports the very fast Thunderbolt 4 standard.
Oh, nice. Important for docks and external GPUs.
Exactly. Crucial for external displays, high-speed storage, maybe even an eGPU down the line. You also get an HDMI 2.1 output.
Good for modern monitors.
Essential for connecting to the latest high refresh rate 4K monitors, yeah. And a full-size Ethernet jack for stable wired networking.
Always good to have.
What's particularly insightful, I thought, was the inclusion of an SD card reader tucked in on the side.
Oh, really? That's handy.
Yeah, described as a thoughtful inclusion for content creators who are often shifting media off cameras and drones.
Definitely. And wireless.
It features wireless AX or Wi-Fi 6E, so you get the absolute fastest speeds and lowest latency currently available for online gaming and streaming. Pretty future-proof there.
Okay, solid connectivity. And how does it actually feel to use day to day, especially for long typing sessions or managing the system itself? Our sources had high praise for the keyboard and the Omen gaming hub software.
Yeah, the keyboard is definitely a highlight. It's described as a joy to type on.
Really?
It boasts satisfying travel of around 1.5 millimeter, which apparently significantly reduces fatigue during rapid typing. So if you're writing code or a long document,
That matters.
it really does. The per-key RGB backlighting is also a nice customizable touch. Lets you tailor the look.
And the software. Sometimes manufacturer software can be bloated.
That's often the case, yeah. But the HP Omen Gaming Hub, which lets you tweak fan curves, monitor system stats, and switch performance modes, it actually stands out as being slick and intuitive.
Good.
Crucially, it avoids being bloated with unnecessary settings. That's a common pitfall they seem to have sidestepped. And this commitment to a clean, functional user interface extends to the OS too. Windows 11 comes pre-installed with only a small amount of HK bloatware that can be quickly uninstalled.
Easy enough to clean up.
Yeah. Plus, you get Windows Hello support via the IR webcam for swift, secure logins. All these little things, they really add up to a well-considered and polished user experience, supporting both work and play seamlessly.
Now, for many powerful laptops, there's always an elephant in the room.
Yes. The battery.
Battery life. What can you realistically expect from this HP Omen when you're truly on the go, away from a power outlet?
This is the trade-off, right? It's important to understand this with any high-performance laptop. As our sources confirm, battery life on a gaming laptop is never going to rival an Ultrabook. Just won't happen.
So what are we talking numbers-wise?
You should expect around 4 to 5 hours of light productivity. Things like emails, web browsing, video playback, that kind of stuff, before the 83W battery needs a top-up.
Okay, 4 to 5 hours light use. Not amazing, but usable.
Right. However, when you dial up the demanding tasks, like gaming or creative work, that figure falls significantly, closer to an hour and a half.
Ouch. Oh.
Yeah. It really underscores the machine's intended use case. It's primarily designed to deliver its full throttle performance when it's plugged in.
So keep that power brick handy.
Definitely. The good news, though, that mitigates this concern somewhat is the charging speed. The included 230W power brick recharges the machine from flat to 50% in about 30 minutes.
Well, that's quick.
Yeah, and a full charge takes just over an hour. So while it's not an all-day unplugged machine, those quick top-ups are definitely feasible.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for someone like you listening, who might be considering a machine that needs to do it all? Our exploration of the HP Omen gaming laptop 16-year-old Zenus truly reveals, well, a pretty compelling package.
In essence, yeah. Our analysis confirms that it is genuinely equally adept at serious work and immersive play. This makes it an excellent choice for gamers, streamers, and content creators alike. It particularly shines if you prioritize a powerful, portable rig without the gaudy styling often associated with gaming notebooks.
Right, that subtle look.
Exactly. And if you understand and accept that battery endurance isn't your top priority, and crucially, you don't mind carrying the brick for full throttle performance.
Know what you're getting into.
Precisely. This machine successfully carves out a specific niche by balancing that top-tier performance with a more subdued, versatile design. It appeals to that hybrid user who values both aesthetics and power.
And that concludes our deep dive into the HP Omen gaming laptop 16 Buosiosiosa. It's a truly fascinating example of how powerful hardware can be packaged in a way that respects diverse aesthetics and supports multiple uses.
It is. And this exploration, it raises an important question, I think. As hardware becomes increasingly powerful and versatile, will the lines between what we call gaming machines and professional workstations continue to blur? Could they eventually make those specialized categories less relevant for you in the future? Something to consider, perhaps, until our next deep dive.